Well, welcome along to Extra Time Friday tonight. Yeah, it's I would say not so much a one-off, but we are trying a thing today. I done today's show purely because I felt to myself on the back of Friday, and I do this regularly on my daytime show, Extra Time Friday daytime show. I talk about financial awareness, and on the back of Friday, we had as the media as is putting it as a computer glitch. Yeah, for those who think a bit different or think a bit outside of the box, we can all say, ladies and gentlemen, it was literally how can I put it now? A cyber attack. That's what I called it. So I thought to myself, of all of the things which has happened over the weekend, Biden literally stepping down. We had the assassination the week before. There's been all kind of things, but obviously the main conversation is in America with Biden stepping down. I thought to myself, you know what? This story needs to be spoken about. It needs to be kept alive. It needs to be literally touched upon so other people are aware. And the reality check for me was simply, I done my show on Friday, which I'm going to bring on one of my guests on in a minute. But I done my show on Friday, and it was, how can I put it now? People were calling and letting me know, or messaging me in the group, letting me know that they couldn't get their money out of their account. They couldn't get their money out of their account. And I had a guy who I'm going to introduce in a moment who deals with gold, but there were other people who deal with different stuff. And I've always spoken about central, decentral banking, yeah, decentralized banking, so to speak, and finding ways to have money, earn money outside of the centralized banking. I'm not doing this show to scaremonger. I'm doing this show to raise awareness. I'm doing this show to have a conversation, and I'm doing this show because, like many others, like we care about our families. And we do not want to be dictated to on what currencies that we should be spending, the amount of money we should spend it. So today I'm giving people alternatives. So that little clip you just, I don't know if you saw it, but we will be re-edit it out. Before I bring on our guest, I just want to play what happened on Friday and the after effect what happened on Friday. So is it possible, voice in my head, just play the clip, and then I'll introduce our guests for today's show. Yeah, this is possibly one of the reasons what could have happened on Friday. But they tried to blame somebody made a mistake. We play the clip.
Murray reports on the worldwide chaos.
It's the day the Earth stood still. A glitch brought Microsoft computers crashing across planet Earth, triggering blue screens of death, even in Times Square. The software company says this was not a cyber attack, but due to employee negligence. We caught up with the man thought to be responsible for the outage.
So the problem we're facing now is the lack of wire. Because when I was trying to fix it, I could almost fix it, in fact. I fixed it even. But the problem is the wire. So you see this wire now. It's not long enough. So this was the only wire that I had in my car. So I was trying to fix it. If not, I could have fixed it and everything would have come back online. It was just we didn't have the enough, and it's raining now. You see all this rain, enough instruments to do the work. But I'm not even an engineer for them. I usually do cleaning. But when I was cleaning by mistake, I think one of my broom touched something. So I know because I've been doing this for a very long time. I said I will just fix it. So that's what I did. So I went to get the wire. But before I left, I put this inside to hold it. But I think that it might have caused more damage. So that's what we're facing now. It's just a lack of resources to do the work.
FlightAware map shows how crowded Friday skies emptied as hundreds of flights were grounded. Despite all the disruption, the employee sees a silver lining in the outage.
The airlines are not flying. Which one? Spirit. Well, I think God works in mysterious ways, you know, because this spirit, anything that can make spirits not to fly is a good thing.
Here at LAX, the lines have been out of control for hours. With computers and kiosks down, gate agents have been unable to tell travelers when they'll finally be able to leave.
But I have to go because they called me to come back to the office. Because apparently I'm not supposed to be fixing, doing mechanical work for Microsoft. So I have to go. But I think they'll fix it. Because if they just follow the thing I was doing, they can fix it by themselves. It's just a wire. If I had a long wire, I would have finished everything. It's just that I didn't have the wire. So I didn't want to ask anybody either. But that's not, that's it. But I don't know if I'm going to be working there again. Because they told me to come back to the office. But I'm not. No, I didn't talk to anybody. What happened? Hospital and airline and banks? Which bank? I definitely bank. Okay.
Saying that it was responsible. That was so I had a little humor to it, yeah. So basically, what happened on Friday to me, I took serious. That was a little joking thing to illustrate about who could have done it, why it could have happened. But ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, this is the deal. Our money, our earnings, our savings, potentially was not touchable. We couldn't get at it for a period of time. So I don't know about you, but that worries me. So I'm just asking people, have you ever thought of having a plan B when it comes to our finances? This is why I'm doing financial winning. So let me introduce our first guest to the show. I want to get her opinions. She's a comedian, a very funny comedian, a rising comedian. And she has got a lot to say on various things. But yeah, I said I've invited her up. She goes by the name of Nadz the Comedian. So Nadz in the building. How are you? We are there. We there, Nadz.
Oh, you're all right. All right.
How you doing? So
I'm all right.
Did you believe the man didn't have such a long wire?
The wire was too long, man. Oh, that was funny. Oh, that was funny. For real.
It was funny.
But yeah, it's scary stuff, isn't it?
It is very scary stuff. And I'm going to bring another guest on to emphasize and ram home what's happening. I have this guy on my show on a regular basis. He deals with gold. His company deals with gold, which is obviously a mineral which a lot of people do really know. I didn't know a lot about, but I've so I'll gladly introduce to the arena Clive Lindsay from Solomon and Global, if he's about. I know he's a busy man, so to speak. Clive,
I cancelled the gym for you, bro. That's the love I got.
Cancel the gym, yeah?
Yeah, I cancelled the gym for you. But it's nice to see a lady here for once. Well done.
He's looking in the mirror.
I'm so sorry about that. A bit embarrassing.
So look, today's a special show. Just introduce Clive. This is Nadz. He's a comedian. Also, I would say, we like call you an activist.
Yeah, I guess you could too.
What about you, Ned?
Yeah, I'd say I was a bit of an activist. Yeah.
But if the government want to class me as that, I'm definitely not an activist.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we are behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying?
So look, I just want to kick off, and I'll ask ladies first. On a real though, on Friday, when did you find out, Nadz, what happened on Friday?
Right, I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't find out until I logged on to work. So I logged on for work. I saw an email saying that there's an outage worldwide. That the company that I work for wasn't affected. I was like, swear, I wanted the day off. What do you mean? What do you mean there's an outage? What do you mean I don't get the day off? And that's how I kind of just found out. And then it wasn't really until like it started popping up on my phone and I was like, oh, this is actually a really big deal. This is a big deal. Like planes were grounded, everything.
Started to sink in for you that this was bigger than it was being made out?
Well, when people couldn't get their money, when planes were grounded, it's like, oh, okay, so what if I wanted to go to the shop and I wanted to get something? What are you telling me I can't get anything? That's wild.
And this is the thing, I'm going to bring Clive in here. I think because Clive was on my show, which I couldn't do to its full potential on Friday. We was just streaming as we're doing now. But Clive found out, obviously, the put down the business he does. When did you find out, Clive?
I got a call early in the morning about 7 o'clock saying that I need to get into the office ASAP because a flood of calls were coming in because everyone was basically pooing themselves in a nice simplistic way in the fact that they're going to have difficulties getting their money out. And to be honest, we had hundreds of clients which did have difficulty getting their money out, but we managed to get to the bottom of it. So it's quite early doors. And then went to get the coffee with the old Barclay card. That didn't work. And it was like, wow, this is serious. This is what I've been preaching about for a while. It's actually coming true. So I had to go to the cash machine, which was complicated because, you know, there's no cash machines around. So it's just a warning of what's about to come. This is just like 1.0.
Nadz, do you reckon, because we've seen this in lockdown when COVID first came about. Do you remember the first little inklings and the little tricklets of there's this illness, this is the disease, this pandemic, which is, and they were filtering it. And I've been speaking to Clive now, what was it, from January, really. And you know what? It's Friday was so ironic because we've been talking, even before myself, I met Clive, talking about banks being affected and banks closing down. They do try to do CBDCs and stuff like that. And even though I believe it, I'd never really expected it to happen there and then. It was like we've been told we're going to be a parent, and then the pitney's there, and you're like, raw. I'm a dad.
I want tests.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Even though it's got the pointed ears and everything.
So I just want to ask you both, yeah, and like I said, I like Nadz, the line of work you do, just how did it really affect your working environment?
Okay, so for the job that I do, it didn't really affect anything because so I work in the airline industry. I'll keep it very basic in there. But if the planes were grounded, the job that we do, well, no one's flying anywhere, so it doesn't matter. So for me and my job, it didn't really matter so much. But obviously, for my clients, it's a big deal that they can't fly. So
what is it you do?
I work for a content service provider. So we provide the in-flight entertainment to all the airlines.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that has a knock-on effect, basically, because if the planes ain't flying, you can't put no content in a dead airline. So do you
hear that though? We're going to be on the airlines. All of us are going to be. We're going to be on the airlines, Quincy. Do you hear that? That's some good coverage for us. We really appreciate that, Nadz.
And for Nadz, for people who've never met you before, Clive, you know what you do.
I apologize. You don't need to cry, bro. I know it's a big event. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. Imagine millions of people seeing us on the back of someone's seat. It's going to be big. I can't wait. We'll start filming tomorrow.
So let people know what you do, Clive.
So I am one of London's leading gold experts. I basically preserve people's financial future through selling gold. And as you know, we've been on air for over a year, and it's been going through the roof as the world collapses. And my job is to just educate people that there is a light out there. As the world gets darker, gold shines brighter, and it's like the world's biggest secret. So I represent an award-winning business, and we place millions of pounds to lots of families and help secure or bulletproof their retirement. In a nutshell.
I feel like you need to have a chat, Clive.
Yeah, when you're ready.
But this is why I bought the show today, because not just obviously introduce you to, but for people to tune in, because we never told. I wasn't aware of the importance of what gold provides. it was just something that I bought or was bought for me for
I
a
was the
change.
same, brother. I was the same. I didn't know, when we left school, we're not in our society. Our families are not programming us to buy gold.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. Like I was really interested to go Turkey because I really want to speak to like the cab drivers and understand their mentality. And I was like, do you understand gold? Yes, my grandmother buy gold. We've been buying gold for every cab driver. Like it's completely different world. And that's why they're securing their future as the lira
Mm.
disappears or devalues. So yeah, brother, it's because we've been programmed. I mean, I've just been studying the Rockefellers' influence over the world, which is unbelievable. And as you know, they own everything from music to education and stuff. And the whole education system, this factory-based education system, put your hand up to go we, and it's all memory-based bull crap. And we've all been programmed not to understand what it is because it's the only asset class that hasn't lost its value since forever, since biblical
Mm.
times, and it's always protected us. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. It really is crazy when you think about it.
So, Nads, on the back of what Clive just has said,
Mhm.
if you couldn't get your money from the banks,
Mm.
like, have you ever thought of what other options you could do? Are you just gonna like sit back and say, well, you know what, well, the government gonna sort it out, or have you ever put into play, like, try to say, you know what can I do to try
Like be
to
proactive.
be proactive, independent?
As a joke, I would like to say, yeah, listen, my feet are ready for those pictures. But in reality, I haven't really thought about it. And which is bad really, because when you were talking about the gold, I have heard people talking about gold and I've really just kind of just brushed it off like, yeah, all right, whatever. But it actually is a thing. Like it really is a thing. And I'm really interested to know like what's what with that, because I don't have any of that. I don't really have any investments. The only thing I've got is my house. So it's like, well, I suppose I could just sell my house if
Well,
need
at least
be.
you've got
But
that. At least you've got a hard
yeah.
asset. Some of the clients we speak to, they don't have any hard assets. I mean, they're completely naked. And when the storm comes, they're going to feel it. So, at least you've got some foundation. The problem is, as you know, prices are going to collapse. And it's a case of
Mm,
getting something else as a wrapper around your property. All the big property guys we
yeah.
work with and girls, they're all filling their boots because it's kind of a wrapper or a hedge against their property.
Mm,
I've got Clive. I've got Nads on because Nads hasn't told you, but I will say it. Nads is very a family connected with the Palestine struggle, and she's half Irish as well. And I, as much as she does the jokey jokes, but I said to myself, when it comes to people who are suffering, like, how do they survive day to day? How do they like just get on with their lives? What kind of, because they're not worried about gold or assets, even though they might come from that region, but there's something else what keeps them going. And this is what I've got Nads on, because it's relatable, because we're in a position to at least explore what gold is, or other
Yeah.
avenues,
Yeah.
or other avenues. So look,
Yeah.
Clive, I'm going to leave you to look. Just take it away and just let people know. And I'll take questions from people, and they can call in as well. I'll give the telephone number out in a minute. Just let
Yeah.
people.
I mean, our company, well, I should say our company, I should really put a disclaimer that I speak for myself, but I know my fellow peers, and we're big supporters of the Palestine movement, and we think it's quite, what's the word to use, disgusting of what Israel has done, and history would tell us that that land certainly isn't what they said it is. And even without that case, the amount of violence, with the average mean age of being 18, why would you attack a country with the average age of mean 18? That's just kids, isn't it? I think 2 days ago, another court had just found them as being a criminal. It's a criminal act in which they've done the invasion. So, as well as the South African court. So hopefully there'll be some justice. But what you'll find with conflicts around the world is, as their local currencies deplete, they do turn for gold. I mean, when you've got rubble around you and all the shops are done, and you've got a guy going around with a bicycle through the rubble and he's trying to sell his goods or whatever, or the water, you know, he will accept gold. I mean, it has been used, or silver coins, jewelry, particularly within that community, has been used as a form of exchange. Because, you know, it's ethos is when shells are coming down, what do? You look for safety. Well, that's what gold provides, is number one, safety. So it becomes what's known as the CC, which is like the crisis commodity. So yeah, it becomes very, very valuable as things get worse.
And just by hearing that, Nadz, it's like, for me, it's very much of a case of not just what's going on in Palestine, but what's going on in different parts of the world. It's affecting. Clive, is it, you're right saying it's affecting gold prices?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the gold, as you know, has been going for, as world gets darker, gold shines brighter. That's a kind of my old saying, and yeah, I mean, you know, when you get conflicts and that, it creates debt. When you get debt, it creates inflation, and when you've got inflation, there's a greater need for gold because inflation pushes currencies down. So they're all intertwined. You know, basic economics 101. So yeah, gold is one of the main drivers for. Sorry, war is one of the main drivers for gold. Now, as you know, I also do radio with Supreme FM, and one of the wordsmiths, Jammer, is a bad man for the words. And he just reminded me the word war backwards is raw, RAW, which, if you know that region of around the Gaza region, there's a huge oil deposit, which they found recently that no one's talking about. And that's worth, you know, hundreds of billions, and that's of interest to the globalist, or however you want to call them. Yeah.
So Nadz, as Clive mentioned, on Friday, before that little glitch about, I know you're fully aware of what was told to the world, what Israel were being held responsible. You was aware of that?
Yeah. The ICC declared that it is apartheid, and they are illegal settlements, and basically they need to stop what they did. Like, we did. Like,
there you go. You said it much better than me. Thank you for that, Naz.
That's all right.
I just tried to freestyle it like I know legal jargon.
Yeah, but that's basically what happened. They've acknowledged that it is apartheid, and that it's breaking international law and all the rest of it. But they can say all these things, but at the same time, that guy who runs that country is ruthless. Yeah. Yes, I call him Satan-Yahoo, but we won't say that too tough. But like, he's ruthless. I don't think he actually cares for the rules. So they can say it's apartheid, they can say they're breaking international law, and he's like, well, I'm just gonna bomb you anyway. We're taking the land. We don't care what you say.
Yeah, I think the madness is that the US was all back behind him, and he's gone so hardcore. The US has said, "Whoa, you kind of just need to chill." I mean, that's how, and you know, the US can be one of the most evil nations based on history, and they've literally like, bro, like, calm down. Like, this guy is really showing some evil attributes.
Yeah,
we got as we got from Roseby. What is the ICC? International Criminal Court.
Yeah. That's it. International Criminal Court.
International Criminal Court. So look, this is what I want to Clive to the alternatives. So right now, there were quite a few alternatives, but at this present moment, to get some kind of blanket underneath you, some foundation.
Yeah.
Gold is one of them. Yeah,
I mean, there's a term called TINA, as in there's no other alternative, and there really isn't. But you could go and buy, like, I spoke to a client the other day, really disappointed me. He got suckered in from his stockbroker, and he just bought a load of treasury bonds. And I said, well, why didn't you buy gold? And it was like, oh, because it's outperforming inflation. So I said, well, what's inflation? And he was like, well, it's like 2%. I was like, come on, this guy is like a chartered accountant for a large firm. I said to him, I said, brother, I said, come on, like, you're a clever guy. You've been to the petrol pump, right? Filled up your car. Yeah, I have. Was it 2% gone up? No. I mean, have you been shopping, or your missus Clive, I know what you're getting at. Exactly. So why have you gone and done that? I said, you
Mm.
bought a bond, and a bond is a debt instrument, and the government is debt ridden. We've got debt to GDP at 120. Now, what that means in English is that GDP is basically a indicator for growth, and it's based across debt. So when we had World War II, because the country went broke, or you turned all of our factories from making goods to making weapons and all that, and we just went bust. And I'm getting that it's hard to stay track here, and that caused inflation, and then it just created a situation which was uncontrollable, and we're just seeing the same thing repeat again. So yeah, without me going off on a tangent, it's quite scary what we're about to see.
I stand corrected. Yeah, it's called ICJ, International Court of Justice. That's ICJ.
It's not the ICC. It was ICJ.
ICJ, yeah, because I do stand corrected. Big up, Tony. Always on ball. So look, Clive, could you tell the people, like, once people call you and Solomon, like, what's the process of when they actually get the gold, and what kind of gradings is there, please?
Well, you can either buy gold bars, gold coins. You can trade gold, not through ourselves. You can buy ETFs, you can buy funds, but they're all a little bit risky. What we do is we specialize in the lowest risk area of gold, which is we send it physically, so it's in the palm of your hand. So the ultimate goal is to provide your own bank in the palm of your hand. So again, it limits my risk, because I could disappear to the jungle in Jamaica and it doesn't matter, because my people still have the gold in their hands. So the other ways you can buy it is bars, but they're not tax free. A lot of people won't tell you that, but they will register you and you would be liable for capital gains. Silver is not. Yeah, silver's not tax free. You got to pay 20% VAT on top, which is a big punch in the lip straight away. We could look at gold coins, which are tax-free, and it's a case of buying the right ones. And that's something that we would strategize with the individual about, and sort of, tailor a portfolio based on what they're looking for.
And it ranges, what's the price ranges from various?
Our minimum, we should cover this because we always get calls. So minimum investment's about 2,700 at the moment. I think we do have some coins as cheap as 2.5. We can actually get you some second-hand gold as well, which is a bit cheaper, but not a lot of people want that due to sort of performance and legitimacy. What else? So that gives you a bit of an idea.
Yeah, and so Nadz, is this something which you and your people will have that discussion? Growing up, did you ever have that discussion in the house about financial awareness?
No. No. The reason that I try and keep myself so financially, in check is because, like, no disrespect, but my parents didn't. So it's like, well, I don't want to be like that. I want to, sort myself out and make sure that there's something there and I've got something to fall back on, like, even if it's just a house. And I feel like after having this conversation, I do need to step it up a little bit more. So I will look into the gold and stuff, not into stocks and shares. That's not stable. I don't like that. So yeah, I wasn't brought up like that. I was brought up to, like, we just look for today. We don't look for tomorrow.
I think she's got a really good point, because we're with the country in the world, or the Western world's had growth for nearly 20 years of, like, this economic growth due to printing. Like, everything's been gravy. Yeah, even the downturns we had, like in 2008, the market jumped back up. But people have no idea what's going to come. This is the biggest bloodbath in the history of mankind. Imagine we're awake. And we're like, for me, I don't know if it's video game or reality or what, but we're literally in a world where it's the worst recession in the history. And the old Bank of England just said it, we're going to have a sharp correction, but they tried to say it in a nice way. And then Andrew Bailey opened his mouth, which maybe had too many brandies at the time, and said there's going to be locusts at the window. I mean, F me, are these talking biblical? So we're talking about a world where we're going to change the fabric of society unseen before. But because we've had this 20 years of growth, everyone's been fine. All the families, they don't need to discuss it. It's all about, who's getting the nicest car, or who's getting the nicest house, or the new roof, or the driveway, or everyone, we've all gone to buying shoes worth 500 quid now, or trainers. It's become this crazy world. And that growth that that demand as well is just going to create such a crash. It's going to be unseen. But the good news is, the bigger the crash, the more opportunity is. You just got to be awake and you can capitalize from it and make a small fortune.
While we're here, look, I want anybody who is currently watching, and I'll say listening, but watching right now, I'm going to put Clive's number on the screen. Is there, you got a special number, or is it the same number we use normally?
Yeah, you can give out. I tell you what, give my mobile number, because you can WhatsApp me. Don't call me live during the show. Just WhatsApp me, please. It will be well appreciated. So that's 07930 615 367. So I'll give it 2 more times, because we always get that lady running around the kitchen with her pen that doesn't work. 07930 615 367. And for the individual at the traffic light trying to type it into their phone, don't worry, we get to hear all the stories when we do these shows. It's 07930 615 367. And yes, it's an old one-to-one number since I was 18 and I'm 45, because, you know, as someone reminded me, we show we never had to run. I wish I had the 07956 one though, because you had the free evening calls.
We're going to take calls, and feel free to call as well. Yeah, have the conversation. Wayne.
Yes, Quincy.
Yeah, go on. You're talking to Clive and Nadz. What's the question you want to ask?
Yeah, before long,
This is so black. Yeah, what I mean it.
He's putting his teeth in. Let him put his teeth in.
I'm not changing nothing now. I realize as we speak, I saw you again.
Yeah, go on. I hear you, Wayne. Go on, Wayne.
Yeah, back to Clive now. I hear Clive talking about gold. Right now, as far as me can say, I want to know. Man, my granny always tell me say silver and gold is vanish away, but you know, the good education never declare. Anyway, the end of the day, what I would like to find out now, because within my days growing up, I know how it was community who keep the community going and how the money used to roll. It was like a fountain. You have the few people who in the community as a eagler. They purchase the farmer food and then go away and sell it and bring it come back, and the money just keep circulate. We look at they will throw parents, we throw them look a partner. So they
Wayne, what's the question, Wayne?
The comment, yeah.
What's the question?
Well, I would have liked the question is like what happened Friday now, right?
Well, yeah.
I think as we as black people, we have to, because without money, you can't get nothing. Because Friday when me do so, and me go to buy stuff more, and everything, no cash. Even the cash pint, you got the cash pint, you can't get no money. So I want to would like to tell the people that draw the money out of the bank, draw the money out of the bank and make sure no hang and find some money on your yard. Right,
so basically, all right, Wayne, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, Wayne. Cheers. So what I'll let you back, King. What Wayne is saying, right? This is the thing. He's saying cash is king. Yeah. So he's saying draw the money out of your account, yeah, and keep some cash. Cash is king. But listen, Clive, tell.
All right. Well, cash was king. It's the complete opposite now. Complete opposite. So the brother is right, and thanks, brother, for calling in. And sorry for Quincy, he's a bit mean sometimes, cut you off like that. You know, my man's screaming, I'm not seeing him while I'm chatting. No, I'm joking. But I was listening, brother, and thank you very much for calling in. And the reason why I was listening, because it's so important, because you're one of millions of people a couple of days ago that was stuck. Now, the question is, right, this is the key question to you, brother, and everybody else, is when that happens, what do you do? Right. Now, the brother went to the cash machine, it didn't work. What are you going to do? You're going to go home, you're going to go into the piggy bank thing and turn it upside down, or the big Coke plastic bottle where you're changing, or go behind the sofa. What are you going to do? You're going to be stuck. And this is where gold becomes the magic solution. You know, it becomes the holy grail. because it can provide us with that asset that we can always get our hands on. Now, yes, someone would say, oh, well, we're not going to get my gold coin and walk into Starbucks. No, but legally, we do sell gold coins that are legal tender. So by law, they can take it. And if the world starts getting worse, there may be a situation where you could do that, or at least you could go somewhere and get cash for it, because unlike a machine, there's people that will be willing to buy that gold off you, because in the next year or so, you won't be able to buy gold. And I've warned people about this. And Quincy, you know what I'm like with my predictions. Yeah, not getting a big head, but I'm telling you, we're going to run out of gold. So yeah, just make sure you got some. But thanks, brother, for calling in, because it's a lot of people are stuck. And if you don't own gold, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Nadz, when you bought your property, what was the main reason of buying your property?
It wasn't for me, like in a whole, oh, it's for my future, it's for my investment. That wasn't the thing. It was, I'll just say it how it is. Basically, because my parents weren't so great financially, they were running out of their mortgage, their contract, and because of their age, they couldn't renew it. So it'd be a case of, oh, we have to get rid of the house and move somewhere. So I was like, well, they're kind of older, they don't really want to do that. So I'll just buy the house and they can live in it. So that's why I bought it. Really, it wasn't really for like an investment purpose. It was more like, let's just take the stress.
Keep you settled, keep the family settled.
Yeah, which is a nice move for you to do that, you know, and that's very kind-hearted of you. You know, a lot of people don't do that. Think of their family first. My goal is to buy my mum a nice place, you know, which I will do. So kudos to you. But
so to cut you there, Clive. So my growing up, like Nadz, obviously we get told, all of us get told, buy property, yeah, bricks and mortar, buy property, and my only issue with property is that you can buy it all day long and have as much houses, but that the market can be manipulated by the area you live. Yeah. So if you buy a couple of houses but there's a few stabbings or crime, then that lowers someone can lower the value of your house just by the area we live in. I have an issue. You know what I mean? And it's like we haven't been given other options. Like I said,
it's a good point. I mean, yeah, it's a good point you made, brother. But look, property, you know, I'm not a property expert, but I work with property experts, so therefore I feel like I get the right information because these guys know the stuff and they always predict it right. And, you know, let's not beat up property. Property throughout the years, bricks and mortars always steadily rose. But the problem is with a lot of people in property at the moment is they think with their heart and not their head. Now, they've got to realize that we've just had the sharpest property increase in the history of mankind, partly because of a lot of the black money that came in from Eastern Europe and Asia, and we cleared it. And that pushed property prices through the roof. We've never had that before. Remember, this is all inflated money that I was talking about. So, you know, a lot of property guys we speak to, like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I'll buy property. Yeah, it's going to go up and come down. So what? You know, it goes back up again. But that just doesn't make sense, because if it's going to come down, and unfortunately it's going to come down for years this time because it's been so overly inflated, why would you be in an asset class or buy an asset class which you know is expensive on its way down? Why don't you buy an asset class which is cheap on the way on its way up? I mean, that's just, you know, basic sense. So a lot of people are not thinking, but there's nothing wrong with property. Most people buy property to live in. You know, for the listeners out there, they're like, oh, well, I don't buy it for an investment. Just like Naz says, she bought it for somewhere for the family to live in. And a lot of people do that, and I respect that. But, you know, to buy it as an investment now is illogical. I mean, we've got clients saying, and trust me, they've changed their mind when we showed them the data. Oh, I was going to put, you know, just 200 grand down on a deposit, £5 million house. You know, we're going to rent it out. I've got luxury contracts, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting 10% yield. But we said, hold on, well, what's the point buying something for 1.8 million or whatever when you know in a year or so it's going to be 1.5 or 1.3 million? Yeah, because this is the data. Oh, and we saved them, you know, that expense. Now they've gone into gold and they're up 20% this year. Property market hasn't gone up 20%. It's been flat as a pancake, and now it's just about to tumble. But what will happen is it's going to tumble, and then the government's going to be desperate. This Keir Starmer guy, as the economy gets worse, because imagine this is going to be the first war president. We're going to war in the next couple of months. What he'll do is when the property market starts dropping, he's going to introduce bailouts. So what that would do is that would just F people even more, because the ones that can't afford their mortgage, they're going to get this handout, this bailout, but being asked to pay back the loan later. You know, like when they gave a load of free cash the other, yeah, the furlough. They've come back now and taken loads of people to court. I know loads of people actually that, not personally, but you read in the papers that took liberties of it and disappeared, you know, across the country. So they're going to introduce bailouts again, and that's going to prop up the property prices so people think everything's all right. And then as the UK goes through the greatest recession in 300 years, property is probably going to half. And I'm being told that from people that own estate agents in Mayfair and, you know, Clerkenwood, you know, some of the best areas. And these estate agents are, you know, older than me, and they've had estate agents probably older than me. So listen to them and listen to me. That's not a market you want to go in. But gold and property has always had an inverse relationship. It's basic facts. If you look at the number 8, if you put the 8 sideways, what does that make, you guys? Put the 8 sideways. What figure does that make? Quincy?
3.
8 or 8?
Yeah, the 8. If you put it sideways, what
infinity.
Thank you. Glad someone's awake there, Quincy. So if you put
what was it?
It's infinity, isn't it? It's infinity if you put the 8 sideways. Now, if you imagine the infinity, yeah, it's like the 8, isn't it, put together? Now, if we break that in half and we say the top part is expensive, bottom part is cheap. Well, right now we've got property expensive and gold is cheap. Now, what happens is if you put them together and it creates that sort of momentum, and I hope I'm making sense here, you'll see one asset class drop, property, and then you see gold rise. This has been happening for thousands of years, so why would you buy it now? Does that make sense? That I hope I've made that easy. That's like the secret of wealth. That video was put together by Mike Maloney. It's so powerful, YouTube banned it, and I've just let it out to the air again. The Jewish community very much live by that ethos as well.
Right, we got a question here as well. Just before we answer the phone, Tony texting and says if he brings gold to a bank, will they give him cash?
Bank, but yeah, don't do that. You're basically helping the bank. But yes, they can do that. Some banks do that. They also help you deposit your gold, and again, do not do that. We have the bail-in rule by law. If the institution were to fail, the instrument holder shall bear the losses. Now, what that means, it sounds like Latin, is if your bank goes down today or any minute now, which is quite likely to happen after Friday's event, you will lose everything within that bank. The bank can control all your assets, so your deposits and your cash. So that's one side. On the other side, yes, don't put it in a bank to get cash, because you know, the whole point is holding gold now. As it continues to go up, you want to accumulate.
Can Tony bring the bar to your company?
Yeah, you could bring it, but we don't advise anyone carrying gold in London, and we don't want any gold. But we can advise him. I mean, we typically work with clients that have funds available, liquidity, or have money tied up in ISAs, which are going backwards, premium bonds going backwards, pensions are going backwards. You know, those clients want to get out of those assets, or shares are going backwards right now. We just had the biggest drop in nearly 2 years on the S&P. So yeah, that's what we typically do, is help clients get out of those assets and into gold. And that reminds me, actually, going from one place to another. Remember, we're not selling gold. All I'm doing is I'm like converting your fake money, fiat, and then we convert it into real money, gold. I'm like an alchemist.
Got more calls. What you think so far, Nadz? Impressed?
I am impressed. I am.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I hope the knowledge helps.
Answer one shot.
How you doing, bro?
We're going all right. You got a question for our guests, Nadz or Clive? What do you want to say?
Your question for Clive.
Go on.
Yeah, it's a question for Clive.
Go on.
Yeah.
What's the question?
I've got a fair bit of money coming in next month, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And the way it is, what I want to ask, what is the actual process once I come to you, let's say I'll give you $5,000. What's the working process from there, and what do you do for me?
Okay, so gold is the most simplistic investment in the world. So in a nutshell, you pay me via debit card, credit card, or bank transfer. I send the gold to you. You put it under your mattress. We wait for it to go up in value, and then we sell it. And that's it. There's no hidden fees. That's why it's so magical, and they've kind of hid us from it. So there's no commission, there's no monthly fees, there's no profit split, there's no subscription fees. It's as simple as that, brother.
How can Spencer and Nadz, like of us lot, how can we know that the price has gone up? Where do we go to? Or do you
so that's a really good question, brother Quincy. So you can go to goldprice.org. Goldprice.org. Yeah, that's a good one. That's simplistic as well when it comes to seeing the gold price. You can go to our website, obviously solomon-global.com. You know, we've got the spot price at the top. Plus, you can have a look at some bars and coins at the same time. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
Does that answer your question, Spence?
Yeah, just one more quick one, yeah?
Right.
This sounds a bit funny, yeah? You know, he says that you could take a coin to the shop and you can buy something, right?
Yeah.
How do you know what change you're going to get back on the board?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. So they would probably give you monetary change, you know, whatever's in the drawer for the remaining. So therefore, you'd probably want to go with fractional gold, a smaller amount. But look, you know, the lady behind the desk, you know, she'll be scratching her head for 5 minutes while she calls the manager. It's not going to be easy. There's actually a court case. You can Google it. It's in the papers now. A guy went paid for his petrol using precious metals, and he actually won the case. Legally, they're meant to take it. Now, obviously, yeah, it's as time goes on, people more and more are waking up and realizing the gold is, you know, the big secret. So we've now got people that call us up. Oh, I'm doing an extension. The builders want to get paid in gold coins. We've got, I don't know if it's the building industry, they're quite savvy, but a lot of the builders now want to get paid in coins. We've had estate agents say to us you know, they're happy to accept clients to pay them in gold. Now, why the estate agents and builders want to get paid in gold? Well, clearly because they know it's going to go up in value and they'll make money. So the world is changing, and the whole point is to be ahead of the curve. Look, when your next door neighbor reaches over the wooden fence and says, "Oh, Quincy," or "Oh, Nadz, have you seen this gold price?" You know, it's too late. You know, you need to be ahead of the curve. That's where all the real money, the real gains are. Because once the public wake up to gold, like 98% of people don't own gold, Quincy and Nadz, once the public wake up and buy gold, the tsunami of cash that's going to come into the gold market, one, we're going to run out because there's so much cash. Remember, there's like 18 times more currencies than in the 70s. Populations are up nearly 20 times. You know, the USSR, which couldn't buy gold, now legally can. Their former Russia and China under Mao in the 70s couldn't buy gold. All these this nation is so much bigger now, and the world is going through this big collapse. There's just not enough gold. So when the tsunami of public money comes in, because all the papers are talking about buying gold now, we never used to see that before. It used to be propaganda. But brother, it's going to be, my job is, I said to someone, I need an assistant for an assistant. It's going to be mad.
I've got a question for you, Clive. So,
one second.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
you're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, we're gonna put a number across there. Just give him a call. This is what we're here for. Just give him a call, and obviously, and Nadz can put any of your family members up because she's kind like that. Go on, Nadz.
Right. So earlier you mentioned that the gold bars, you have to pay tax on it, and some of the coins are tax free. So how many, like, what's the equivalent of one bar versus how many coins?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So we would typically advise buying single coins. The sort of worldwide acceptable weight is known as a troy ounce, which isn't. It's different to your ounces on road. Not that I know what that means on road stuff. I saw it on one of these shotters type films, you see. But anyway, when one is on road and the standard 28 grams, this is 31 grams.
Yeah.
So it's 31.1 actually. So troy ounce gives you that little bit extra, which is nice. So the acceptable coinage would be the 1 ounce coin, and the first country to implement that was or introduce or produce was South Africa with the Kruger rands. And then a bar, they range from different sizes, so you can buy like these credit cards. which you can cut into tiny pieces of 1 grams. You know, I don't even know how much a gram of gold is now, 50, 60, 70 quid. I should know, but I sell ounces, and ounces are 1900 quid roughly. And then from the these little cards, you can go into the tiny little bars. So they'll start from 5 grams, 10 grams, then 100 grams, and then you get the big ones. You remember on the films that we see, on the films, you know, there's big pretty bars which are kind of shaped a certain way. The reason they're shaped like that is so they can stick together. And they are 50, nearly 60 grand today. You know, back in 2008, they were 30 grand. They're nearly twice the price.
Oh wow.
So that gives you a little idea about the weighting. Does that make sense? Does
Yeah.
help?
I was just thinking, so how many coins have you got to have to technically get a bar but not pay tax? You see where my brain was going?
yeah. You're on the next level. Well, because the bars are not tax free, and coins, I mean, bars average about 8% per annum. Coins would average anything from 11 to 30% per annum. I mean, some double in, you know, in auctions if you buy the right one. So, you know, it's there's some good opportunities. It just depends on how long you want to hold it for. You know, what your risk attributes like, or what your tax liabilities are.
Do you know we've got about 5-6 minutes left before we wrap up here, because I want to just keep this out there, because Clive is back on my show on Friday during the day.
We had so much to cover, bro. I've got so many mad notes here. Like, it's like,
you know,
for example, we'll cover it before, but the just Trump assassination, that was, surely people know that wasn't staged, by the way, but it was an inside job. And it just kind of points, it does lead to gold, because this guy wants the gold standard, and as well as a few other bits, and they tried to blow his head off because gold is, they are scared of you know, what that good advice does.
Yeah, they gave him a Van Gogh. Right, we've got a question. What's the name? Gold and silver can already be used for transactions and exchange of control. Gold and foreign currencies exemptions. All the 1970s. That's someone who knows their stuff clearly.
So gold coins, in the 1980s, anything with the effigy of our queen on or king must be deemed as capital gains tax free, therefore legal tender, or vice versa.
Another question here from Nanjibi. What is the name of the legal case which you were referring to? Do you know it, Clive?
No, I don't know the name, I'm afraid.
Right, I can find that out. I'll find it out for you, Nanjibi. I just want to say, like I said, the main important of us doing this show is to raise awareness, and to have that conversation. And to lighten it. I don't want to make it question timey. I'm still working on the format of the kind of show, but like I said,
I'm working on some new jokes as well. My material's getting better. I'm always working on, not as good as you guys. You guys are the pros.
But Clive comes on. He's back on my show on Friday, between 10 and 11, which we obviously what he hasn't done today. But like I said, please give him a call. Give the guys a call. And have the conversation, you know what I mean? And it's something to think about. And like I said, Nadz is on here because that shutdown just happened after the law was passed, or it was told, and this is what happened after. So to put ourselves in a better position, and you know what, I will say this, and please back me up, Clive, if you feel so. There are people who earn money out of tragedies. There are people who
100%.
take advantage of that situation, manipulate it. So one of the things I'm going to teach you, Clive, why can't it be the likes of us?
Well, the thing is, it's about turning an evil situation to good, or being the optimist in a pessimistic type of world. We're not nowhere profiting from a war. As I've always said, I'm a son and dad and all the rest of it. And you know, we don't want the world to get darker, but look, I'm not a loser, I'm a winner. And I will always strive when these opportunities come about. And it's either you're on the dinner plate or you're at the table. It's just up to you, you know. So, and this is what separates the men from the mice, I guess, because you have to take control. And when we talk about men as well, as you know, the biggest problem we have is we've helped loads of sisters and brothers, but it's been, what, 90% sisters now. I mean, what the hell are the brothers doing? You know, they really need to man up. and take control of their wealth and not think about these short-term opportunities, but really protecting their future.
And it's true, Naz. What you said, and it's true that mainly women. Do you think women have got a better insight when it comes to investment or when it comes to finances? They got than men.
I think it depends on the woman. I feel like as the years have gone on, like back in the day, used to be the man provides, you know, the woman stays at home, blah blah blah. And as time's going on, women are becoming more and more interested in covering themselves in case their marriage doesn't work out or whatever happens. They're just like, no, I need to have my own back. So I feel like that's where the direction's going.
Yeah. I think I've read into it because I've been fascinated by the numbers, particularly recently. It's just become so heavily on the women, and thank God, you know, it kind of makes sense. We came from them, but it comes down to the conviction. I've been trying to study the psychology behind it and speaking to certain experts, and it comes to the conviction. I think a lot of men always second guess. I can do it myself, and as I said, some of the brothers end up in Hatton Gardens buying themselves a bar or a silly chain and making the wrong investment. And it is having that conviction, but and don't forget, women has changed as well. I mean, going back when I was talking about the 70s run, it was always probably the men making the decisions on what to buy and the financials. But the whole society has changed now, and women certainly have much more power, which is, you know, is a good thing. But let's not give them too much, Quincy, because we're men as well.
So look, I think we should end it there because I just wanted to do this one-off show. I will bring it back. It will be formatted and structured so we can add different elements to it.
Can I just give a quick warning before you do that as well? But sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go on.
When you finish. Well, no, when you finish, when we wrap it up.
No, I say that I will bring that. The financial awareness is a well listened to segment of my show on a Friday between 10 and 11. I've been doing it a couple of years now, you know what I mean, and I'm always learning. And I think that doing just a financial awareness at Extra Time Friday today is something that, well, you people in the chat, you let me know if it's a conversation we should be having, or you think I should be doing it on a regular basis, because I would like to do it on a regular basis. I like to be educated. I mean,
when you have the biggest cyber attack in history, you've got to cover it, Quincy. That's your job. I mean, the world has never seen that before, and you think that's the first one or the biggest, and it's never going to happen again. And you've got to tell the people,
Having Nadz on there, I mean, we were always trying to find a lighter element, but
and a prettier one.
Yeah. You should better look at me. It's for me, it's really like knowing your background and obviously the effects of what's going over there, the genocide over there. You both coincide. You know what I mean? There are clearly people who are going to profit off of that ignorance. You know what I mean? And it's and we need to know more about our finances. 100%. We are telling our children, our brothers, our little brothers and sisters, or uncles. You know what I mean? That's why I do. That's why I do my show.
What I suspect what's going to happen is what happened last Friday. I think was a test. They were testing waters, and I feel like something much bigger is going to come soon.
Yeah, well said. Just like the riots a couple of years ago, it was a test on how it was going to play out. They saw all the WhatsApp groups. The police were just watching. That's why the Federal Reserve, I must remind people, the Federal Reserve, which is a public monument, well, as you know, it's a company which controls the world financially, private company, which is criminal, but it's surrounded now by a 10-foot wall, a 10-foot black wall. Just Google it. You know, you can see it on Google. You see it on Google Earth. A 10-foot wall, which has been up there for the last 6 months. A civil war is coming across the West. You know, that's one of the warnings. And that's why I want to warn people: make sure you get your provisions. Never forget that, your pastas, your cans, your waters. We looks like we're going to war. So NATO, one of the warnings was NATO's just immobilized a whole heap of troops, the largest immobilization we've seen in history, and China's immobilized troops right next to Russia, Belarus. Now, they said it's for training, but why would you go all the way from China all the way over there and train right next? So we are, unfortunately, because they're pushing for that. So guys, just make sure you get as much gold. I mean, we see gold double or jump 50% in wars. This is easy money. Also, just wanted to understand the reason why we covered this today, which isn't our usual timing, is because, as I said, this was the largest cyber hack in history. Everything, imagine people went to get their prescription. A lot of people, there's cases now, certain people dying or certain people getting very sick. You're going to hear about them over the coming months going through private court or whatever because they couldn't get their prescriptions. This is effing serious. You know, imagine that you needed that certain drug or whatever, and you couldn't access it. I mean, you all know friends or family that are seriously ill, and imagine the nightmare that they had. And the point I was going to make is that, look, this is all digital, guys, all up in the ether, right? The money that's in your bank is also digital. It's not cash that you guys have in the bank. It's just digital, right? So gold is the only hard currency. Remember, it's not hackable. You can't hack into gold. Remember, you can't turn it off. It's always there. And I think that's where the magic is. And that relates to, you know, to get out of this hacking situation and make sure you're protected. So I just wanted to cover that, brother.
All right. On that note, one more time for Jonah Harrison. The show will be up for a bit. We're going to take it down probably tomorrow, re-edit it and be up. Clive is back on my show on Friday, 10 o'clock. So please share it. That's all we can ask you to. Please share it and ask any questions. This is what we're here for. Yes, could you let people know where they can catch you? Your next performances? When's Janet going to be killing you in the gym?
Oh, listen, it's a welcome killing, yeah. Janet's always killing me in the gym, but it's great. I'm not complaining. Where they can catch me, you can catch me on social media, obviously, Nadz the Comedian on Instagram and TikTok. Performances will be on my Instagram somewhere, so just find out there.
And also, when you check out her TikTok, check out some of the stuff she has related to the Palestinians, because it's very powerful. I mean, it's very, very powerful. I'm surprised.
Truth needs to get out there.
I'm surprised it hasn't been taken down yet, but yeah, it's still good. It's good.
Well, Instagram started shadow banning me. So when I used to put on my stories, when I used to share things from people that are actually there, what's happening, they started taking it down or making it private so that other people couldn't see it. So
that's what's happening to me. Yeah, that's what I share different news stories, and that's been with me for a little while. You know what I mean? We need the gold version of social media.
Yeah, for real.
And Clive, tell them one more time as your
so tomorrow. Yeah, so tomorrow, if you want to reach out to us in the morning, if you want the free phone number, it's 0800 368 9145, and I'll read that 3 times for those rushing around. That's 0800 368 9145. We open officially at 10:30, but I'm usually in about 8:39 to try and keep up with this backlog. We had hundreds of calls. It was crazy on that cyber attack day. So don't be left behind. And if you want to WhatsApp me, that's 07930 615 367. That's 07930 615 367. Now, if you didn't have time to write that down, if you just memorize the 2 words Solomon-Global, you can find us online, or even if you just Google Clive Lindsay, loads of stuff on myself as well.
Yeah, and on that note, I said it'd be up on my channel, and then I'll be sharing it, and obviously the shorts will be going out on various social media sites. But Nadz, thank you very much for taking part. I always
thank you for having me.
No, anytime, man. Like I said, I'll always get you back on. And I mean, by the consensus, keep these kind of conversations up, because, like I said, Clive said it.
Yeah, Friday. Thanks for coming on. Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you, Clive. I'll be in touch. Don't watch that.
Don't worry. Good. I look forward to it. Lots of love, brother. Thanks for having me again. Thanks to the listeners. Good vibes and energy, and lots of love to everyone. And let's get you some gold in that before we run out.
Yeah,
take care, guys. All right, see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Clive and Nadz is out, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say on that note, this is not a one-off, but I just felt that I had to do this kind of show today, And I know people see me on stage and me busting jokes and all that, but you know what? It is serious. It was serious. It was another eye opener for me. It was something that we're watching history repeat itself. We were all there 4 years ago. We were talking about when the media was talking about COVID, and next thing you know, it was on us. So that little example of a blackout is real things. So I want everybody to be financially aware of what's going on and being financially in control of your own destiny. We do not want to be reliant on people who haven't got your best interests at heart. And we all know who those people are, ladies and gentlemen, and what they stand for. So on that note, I'm back on Wednesday morning, 10 o'clock, Supreme. If you get a chance, please share this, subscribe to the channel. You can go to my website, www.quincyscomedylounge.co.uk. And all I can ask you to do is subscribe, like, comment, and share. And on that note, take care of yourself.